Hello, today we are talking about core and specifically belly after baby. How do we work to cinch in the waist and flatten the belly, especially if you have ever been pregnant? You know the changes that this area goes through. So specifically for moms, but really for all women, learning how to activate the muscles that actually cinch in and flatten the core is one of the best things you can really do for yourself to make sure that over time you avoid injury, you have great posture, you're able to wear the clothes, the bikinis, the lingerie that you enjoy, and you're just able to be strong, healthy, and age really gracefully, because our core is the powerhouse of our entire body. If we are weak in our core, it can just lead to so many issues, not only with the look of it, which of course is something that leads a lot of us to get on our mats in the first place, as we want to enhance and improve the appearance of this area, but also it's just going to make such a big difference when it comes to all those things that I've already mentioned. We all know we need a strong core, so let's talk about a couple tips that I'm going to share with you that are really going to help make all the difference when it comes to actually strengthening this area and seeing those noticeable changes. So first things first, we need to work our TVA, transverse abdominis. This is a muscle that literally wraps around your whole body like this. It wraps around your core and it pulls everything in, your transverse abdominis, TVA. A lot of us, instead of working our TVA, we spend time working our RA, rectus abdominis, which is the six-pack muscle that kind of crunches and things like that work. Now, while there is a time and a place for working your rectus abdominis, it's certainly not the most important muscle, and it's certainly not the one that really helps to pull everything in and create that nice cinch that's built in. It's like a built-in corset. So I'm gonna share with you an exercise or two that I really love for the TVA right now, but if you're really interested in learning how to properly activate your core and starting to see noticeable changes, then tap the link I've placed for you around this video. There's a 15-minute follow along from home routine you can do that is going to make all the difference in really setting the foundation and then progressing it so that you can get those amazing noticeable results right from the comfort of home in just a couple sessions a week. So let me show you here. I've got my mat out. I'm just going to lower this camera down real quick and show you one of my favorite movements for working the TVA, the transverse abdominis, is a bird dog. Now, a lot of these movements seem really simple, but the key is to take your time, move slowly, and really challenge the stability of your pelvis and your rib cage. So we're gonna come to all fours. Right away, inhale and just soften your belly. And exhale and draw the navel in towards the spine, activating the core. And if you just touch, you'll be able to feel that it's squeezing, it's a little bit firmer. Now what you're gonna do is extend the opposite arm and leg out, and then come back to center. And your goal is to maintain the core activation and not let your pelvis turn. So you don't wanna be rotating, you wanna stay super strong and in the center, stretching everything away and coming back to center. Like my core is vibrating, shaking, and I've done this exercise for however long, but it still gets me. Another great one you can do to really target the lower area of the abdominals while working the TVA is laying on the back, same thing, pull the core in, check that the core is engaged. We're gonna hover the arms and the legs, and then it's basically the same thing, but more challenging because now you're hovering the legs. You can see how this is the same kind of movement, but now on our back, so much more challenging. And what I love about these exercises is you can see the neck is really comfortable, the back is protected and secure. It's not the same as those crazy crunches that you see people doing that strain the neck, cause pain in the back, and are just not good for our posture overall. So those were just two. I have literally hundreds that I can walk you through on the next page, so make sure you check that out. That is tip number one. Tip number two has to do with your back, because our back is part of our core as well. So in that little core routine I mentioned, we also do movements to strengthen the back of the body. And I think we can all agree that our posture, when our posture is nice and tall and like we're drawing our core in, our back is strong, everything looks great. If we're slouching, it's just not good for the way it looks. It's also not good for our strength in our back. It causes imbalances. So we do movements that strengthen the back. Again, these are all that you can do from home without any equipment, that are very safe, based in yoga and Pilates to help us strengthen our back, to pull everything long. I mean, good posture, I've seen people say it can make you look 5 or 10 pounds thinner. And I agree with that, because good posture, not only does it look beautiful and graceful and feminine, it just helps to lengthen everything out. And in that core routine I was talking about, we focus on length as much as we do strength, which is a super combo. Now, the third and final thing I want to talk about is cardio for fat loss. We know that, I mean, a lot of us women just naturally, this is an area that we hold on to fat, right? Some people say it's because our uterus is here and the body wants to protect and keep the uterus nice and warm and safe and cushy for our babies. I mean, it's just the way it is. So we store fat here. So of course we know that diet plays a role, but I'm talking specifically exercise. Now, there have been a lot of studies come out to show HIIT, high intensity interval training, is one of the best ways that you can quickly burn a ton of calories and help to create a little spike in your metabolism that lasts well after your workout, all the way up to 48 hours after. However, you don't need to be doing HIIT for like 20, 30, 40 minutes in order to get noticeable changes and get that afterburn effect. So inside the core routine I mentioned, we do 4 minutes of HIIT cardio, but we do it in a way that also targets the core. For example, if we're gonna do a side lunge, this would be like a regular side lunge, right? Which is great. Burns calories, works to strengthen the legs, but we would add in a core movement such as coming up and crossing to get the abs to really engage, so that not only are you spending those 4 minutes burning and blasting calories, you're also activating and working the core at the same time. There are studies that show that doing core training with cardio together can help us to mobilize the fat in that area. Now, I mean, who knows? There's always a study that says one thing and then another study that says something else. I believe, however, doing HIIT cardio and incorporating your core work into that HIIT cardio, it can't hurt, right? You're focusing on one of the best ways to, proven best ways to help us burn a ton of calories, blast fat, and help us to reduce weight while also targeting the core at the same time. So it's kind of a win-win. So those are my 3 big tips to help us see noticeable changes in cinching the waist and flattening the core, especially if you're a mom, especially if you're a woman, you know, in her 30s and up. We're not in our 20s anymore. It gets a little bit tougher. Our hormones change. We start to store fat in this area. However, we don't need to spend hours at the gym. We don't need to do some crazy hard workouts that are gonna leave us feeling stiff and sore and uncomfortable or lead to injury. It can be done in a really smart way. 3 times a week, 15 minutes. Each session is all it takes to start seeing and feeling those noticeable changes. I'm so excited to get you started on this. Make sure you tap the link around this video now, and let's get going on your core. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon. Big hugs, lots of love. Bye-bye.